I female 25 had a wild night just before my fiancé male 26, and I started dating, and now I feel like I should tell him about it. Last month my boyfriend of 18 months became my fiancé, and I am thrilled about it. But I feel a little guilty and feel like I need to tell him about a wild night I had just before we became intimate. Jim and I met when we were both cast in a community theater play. Lots of chatting and hanging out during rehearsals. Backstage and at the bar after the show proved that we were a good match for each other, and I really liked Jim right away. However, Jim was very slow to make his move, and I was even unsure if he was ever going to make one. So when I heard from an old duck buddy of mine, I took the call. I hadn't seen Steve in about 6 months. But that was okay. We could go months without hearing from each other. Steve was a very handsome man and spectacular in bed, but somewhat self-centered. So I never really wanted a relationship with him. But we were very sexually compatible. Once, Steve and I had confessed to each other our sexual fantasies. Steve's was a fairly normal submissive thing that I could easily make come true. Mine was a lot darker in that I wanted to do it with 3 guys at the same time. Steve was very turned on by the idea. But nothing ever came of it. Steve called me to say that he had 2 old college buddies in town, and the 3 of them were looking for some fun and wanted to know if I was up for living out my fantasy. He even texted me a picture of the 3 of them, and they were a good-looking bunch. I thought about Jim for a second. But I didn't know if anything was going to happen there, and I really wanted to fulfill this fantasy at least once in my life. So I said yes and drove over to Steve's house. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but I will say that I really loved it. It was a bit overwhelming at first, and I kept asking the guys to slow down. They were very good about listening to me and did whatever I asked. But I still was having trouble getting into the swing of things. Then one of the guys had some joints and suggested we get stoned, and that relaxed me quite a bit, and I just let things happen. I felt so wonderful and so luddy, and when I had each of them inside of me at the same time I had the most intense orgasm of my life. I let each of them have fun with me. So I was covered when the evening's activities were over. Steve invited me to crash at his place, which I accepted, and the next morning we did it all over again. Although this time I was completely sober, and it was just as fulfilling. I showered and left to go to our Sunday matinee performance, and I felt really guilty when I chatted with Jim. But knew rationally that there was no reason for me to feel that way. The next weekend, finally giving up on Jim making the first move, I gave him a long, deep kiss goodnight. He reciprocated the kiss, and we wound up back at my place ducking all night long, and we have been together ever since. I considered asking Jim if he wanted to have some sort of poly session with me. But when he found out a girlfriend of mine had been in a thing like that with 3 people, he was grossed out by the whole thing. So I never went through with asking him about it, or even confessing that I had been doing this kind of stuff. Jim is an awesome guy and we have a great relationship. We are usually very open with each other, and our ex-life is wonderful. I've never told him about this thing. But we have talked to each other in general terms about our past sexual history, like how many partners we've had, strangest place, etc. And while I really enjoyed my foursome, if I never have another one again, I won't have any regrets. Here's my question now that we are engaged. Should I ever tell Jim I had this experience? I feel like if I do, he will lose all respect for me as he did for my girlfriend, and I think it would ruin our relationship. If this thing with 3 people I did hadn't been the week before we started dating, I would have no qualms about keeping this a secret. But for some reason it feels like I cheated on him, and it bothers me somewhat that I haven't told him. Edit. Thanks for all the advice. I've decided I don't need to tell him unless I am asked directly. Too long didn't read. Took part in a 3 people rapport the week before I started dating my fiancé. Do I need to tell him? Save this story for the wedding rehearsal dinner. I am a guy and I must say, please for the love of God do not tell him. I got engaged last year. And if my fiancé told me right before we dated I had a thing with 3 guys, my brain would probably short-circuit and I would just shut down emotionally. I would never be able to shake the visual of that moment. Please don't tell him. For his sake. Please. Ostrich syndrome. It is totally reasonable to expect that our partner has had X before us just like we have before them. But nobody ever wants to hear about it. I like to hear every detail. I am that guy. Same. I like details. Don't know why. I think it's because typically your mind will assume the worst. So when they tell you what actually happened, it seems much more vanilla. It depends. Do you? 1. Want it to happen again. 2. Feel that Jim thought you were in a relationship before you spent the night together. 3. Know why it feels like you cheated on him. Want it to happen again. I wouldn't say no, but only if Jim was a part of it, but I was happy with experiencing it once and have no urge to do it again. Feel that Jim thought you were in a relationship before you spent the night together. I don't think so. But about 3 weeks before, I was going out with some friends after the show and he said to me, "Don't do anything stupid." But I also thought he was going to make his move any day, and he did not. Know why it feels like you cheated on him. I just really liked him, and I really wanted to be with him. But he was not making any moves or giving me any signs, and I had a chance to fulfill a fantasy. I just feel guilty sometimes. However, seems like the consensus is to suck it up and live with it, which I can do. Second story. I 26 female have found my SZOL soulmate 30 male, but I am playing with fire. It's a slow motion car crash. And I can't stop. So, first off, this is the best ex I've ever had. I truly feel like I've found my SZOL soulmate. Would really appreciate if some of you all can give me the kick in the ass I need to ditch this relationship. I am so into this man. And every rational part of my brain is screaming at me to leave, but I am still in it. We're still talking about the future like it will ever happen. And I constantly feel like a young bird being thrown out of the nest. I don't ducking know. We've said I love you, but it was supposed to be a friend with benefits thing. It's frankly spinning wildly out of control. We met on a Tinder. I know I need to end this, but I am finding it hard. He's married. I met for the purpose of a friend with benefits thing with a person I thought was practicing ethical non-monogamy. The reality of his situation is definitely non-monogamous, though seems increasingly unethical the more I learn about it. His wife doesn't seem to know as much as she should. And he lies to ducking everyone. All the time. Which shockingly, I know is creating some trust issues. It took a few months for me to learn more about him. We've been together 5 months, and over the past month or so I've really started to realize how wrong for me this is. My friends too are all saying, "Girl, get out." The below is my State of the Union address. Please tell me what I already know. Or whatever. This whole thing is starting to feel so toxic and damaging to my life, but I can't for the life of me bring myself to end it. Cons. He constantly catastrophizes when we're not together. He obsesses over the worst possible things he can think about. And whenever we're apart, works on dismantling our relationship and coming up with terrible things I am inevitably trying to do to him. He constantly thinks I am cheating on him. He's married. Cheating on his wife. With me. Though exclusively me. Apparently. That sounds pretty naive typing it. And is constantly terrified I am going to cheat on him. Just. What? How do you think your wife feels? Felt before you demanded an open marriage? This seems like textbook projection to me. The more worried he is that I am cheating on him, the more certain I am that the reverse is true. And like. Just. UGH. You're married. Is this an exclusive relationship anyway? He's wanted me to meet his kid pretty much from the get-go. Like. Week 1. You should come meet my 5-year-old kid. He still talks to a bunch of women he had casual sex with before we met. While he was married. Before demanding that his wife give him an open relationship. These women are just friends though. He's not ducking them, he promises. Apparently there was about a year of cheating before the open marriage conversation happened. But we're exclusive. Okay. I feel like such a ducking idiot as I type this. What the duck is wrong with me? How did I get into this? He's cheating on his wife. He'll cheat on me. Right. Like. I've never been one of those "you're probably cheating on me" type people, but I just can't shake the feeling that something is seriously not right here. Beyond the ducking marriage, I guess. I know there's so much he isn't telling me. He seems to fight with everyone in his personal life. His life is full of friends he never talked to anymore and enemies he's made at work. Everything will be fine 1 minute and then the dumpster fire is back on right after that. Comments like asking him to help me get some laundry in the machine, or to pick up after himself at my place cause emotional distancing. Anger. Crying. Just out of nowhere. Every time I try talking about issues I am having, he gets defensive. He immediately retorts back about his own issues. And doesn't show much of a pattern of being able to talk about challenging subjects without getting angry. Never feels like we're on the same side of anything. He lies to pretty much everyone in his life. His wife. His parents. He has an incredibly complicated relationship with his mom. But he'd never lie to me. Oh no. He's honest with me. Right. He constantly talks about himself. He complains that we don't know each other well enough, but never asks me much about myself. He responds to almost everything I tell him with some story from his life or another. Everything he does is excused by some specific minorly traumatic event that happened years ago. He's been through some shit. And he's in therapy and working on it. But he has a habit of completely folding under the slightest amount of pressure in his personal life. He blames most of the problems in his life on other people. Doesn't accept responsibility for the choices he's made. Or his own responsibility to fix things. He really doesn't seem to have any plans for the future. He's just kind of going day by day. Supported by his wife. Doing whatever he wants. He tells me about his wife. And she seems depressed. Honestly, I feel terrible for her. Pros. The ex is great. I really enjoy the time we spend together. Aside from the terrible emotional regulation, he is always going out of his way to do nice things for me. Is generally very open-minded about trying new things that I like. Always willing to listen to me when I need something before responding with an anecdote about himself. He's in therapy. He's working on his shit. I understand it's not my responsibility to fix him. And I am not trying to. But he makes me happy. When we're together anyway. I feel really happy when we're together. There's a real connection there. Underneath all the everything else. Girl. Why are you with someone who is married? Have some goddamn self-respect. Move on. A friend with benefits situation kind of spun out of control. I am semi-poly. I've been in relationships with plenty of people in actually ethical non-monogamous relationships. It took me some time to realize that this isn't that. But you do know that it's not ethical now. And you're still with him. You're not being cool to yourself or to this guy's poor wife. Are you serious? What is this S-Zool soulmate crap? Say what you mean. You've been thinking with your organs this whole time. He doesn't sound like a good partner. He doesn't even sound like a good person. Yes, he will cheat on you. He will cheat on any partner he has. And the fact that you're still entertaining this is mind-boggling. In fact, you're no better than him for helping him cheat on his wife. You just want an excuse to keep on going. And ignore the tidal wave of red flags it takes to get there. You're just as selfish as he is. Maybe when his wife finds out and divorces this bastard, you can be the new wife to get cheated on. It's what you deserve for staying. Third story. Rant. The letter I just sent to my cheating wife. I'd say I'm sorry. But I'm not. I do feel a little guilty being such in a hole. But I can't help but be passive-aggressive. Vindictive and hurtful. I've slowly let you back into my heart. The weekends with family. The evening talks. The communication in our shared document. Knowing full well that the closer to my heart I let you get, the more it will hurt the next time you betray me. I knew it. And here we are. I don't know if I can put myself through this again. Your test last night. I need to have a ducking conversation with him at 9:54 p.m. Who knew you were being so literal? I called it on my way out the door. Call your boyfriend. Get out your toys. Drink a whole bottle of wine that we bought together intending to share it. It's okay. I didn't want any of it. Apparently. You really needed to have a ducking conversation with him. How was that magic wand I bought for you? You never gave it a fair shake with me. You have to relax and leave it in place. Last night. You had plenty of time. Did the toy help you finally do it with him? You stayed up past 2 a.m. and slept past your alarm. Who cares about responsibility? Right. Who cares if you show up late for work? Speaking of work, what is your plan for the individualized education program meetings on Monday? Will his wife be there? Will that be awkward? What if she knows? What if someone has told her? Now your coworkers and boss will know too. Will they keep it a secret? Do you need to worry about your job? And after work, is your happy hour plan an actual plan with co-workers? Are you going to tell everyone that you've been seeing someone special for the last 5 months? I'm sure they've noticed you glowing. You better dress your best. Nothing but the best lotion and perfume. Make sure you bring a nice outfit to change into. Garters and thigh highs are super hot. Shave your legs. I'm sure he'd love it smooth. I'm sure he's sorry he didn't do anything for you on Valentine's Day. You better pick up some lube. Water-based is best. I know how much you now love X from different perspectives. I wouldn't know. Now would I? Don't bother picking up condoms. I'm sure the two of you are dying to have another set of twins. You acted so offended that I dare offer to have X with you. Of course that's all I want. It seems to be all you want too. I don't remember you ever doing this for me more than once. You shared videos and pictures. With Broke back in 2005. You sent him pictures of you in lingerie again last November. Now, you've sent pictures of you like 4 or 5 times to Jake. Back on the 6th you sent him and me the same picture. So addicted to getting the attention of 2 men. You're so ducking hot. I've been thinking of ways to help you put an end to it. You don't want my help. You can spend long nights on the phone with him having phone X. While I'm crying in the basement and the kids are 20 feet away. It doesn't affect you. You're a ducking monster. Don't try to tell me you love me. This is not what love does. You know how your actions make me feel and you do them anyway. You love everything I do to help. I'm your chore boy. Babysitter and roommate. I'm leaving for the weekend. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know when I'll be back. I can't promise I'll be home in time to watch the kids for your date on Monday. But I'm sure you can figure something out. I bet Kate will gladly bring over one of the girls to sit. So you can continue your illicit affair. I'd like to think me leaving will make you feel guilty. But you won't. I won't be looking for you to call or text. Clearly I'm not worth fighting for. You clearly don't mind losing me or separating our family. The kids know I love them. I will be there for them when they need me. Be sure to tell them the whole truth about why I can't stand to be in the house with you right now. You should come clean with your parents too. I'll be around again soon enough. I need some time to cool off. We are going to have a lot of paperwork to work on together. I still intend for this to be amicable. We are now business partners. We are in the business of raising 3 beautiful children. We need to keep collaborating. We cannot work against each other. Jesus. This sub plus a lot of my own personal crap has really hardened me to the point where I have zero tolerance for this crap. I mean literally none. Some of the stuff I read on here breaks my heart so much for fellow crap. They let their husbands and wives treat them so horribly, all for just a fraction of the love and affection they give their affair partners. I love all of my fellow BS. And I believe each and every one of you deserves to be happy and loved. You are all worth so much more than you are getting. This is really sad. Please don't send it to her. Just go no contact and get a divorce. She's a serial cheater. Too late. We share a document on Google. She read it. I can't go completely no contact with the kids involved. But I need a few days to cool off before I can face her again. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.